Ladies and gentlemen, we are back and we're sitting in front of dead people's art, except for Marvin Bailey. He's still alive, but everybody else behind us is dead.
Where are we today?
We're in Gibsonville, North Carolina.
And
Home of Torrey Holt, home of the Gibsonville 12U Yellow Jackets and the 10 and the 8U. Home of House of Folk Art.
And
Folk Art.
the notorious Ledbetters?
I won't go that far. But yeah, sure, whatever.
The home of Matt Ledbetter?
The home of Matt Ledbetter.
And we're in your folk art room right now.
We are in the folk art gallery, yes. This is a sanctioned, I just did something. This is a sanctioned room. Like, this is its own entity right here. Look how much seating we have. This is for somebody can play the piano in the next room. Somebody can hand out hors d'oeuvres. We can have 12 to 15 people in here sitting, drinking wine or whatever they want to drink and just talk about folk art. This is a real thing, bro.
I love this room. Every time I come in here, there's something new.
And like every 2 years, we switch it out. So the reason we're shooting the podcast here is because we are about to gut this room.
Mm-hmm.
This room has been a living folk art gallery for the last 3.5 years. And so the business model is every 2 years, we're going to cycle it over and we're going to repaint, we're going to redecorate, and we're going to have an open house. And we're going to, for 2 years, we're going to have a showing. And, you know, people can book a night and kind of like a bed and breakfast type of thing. It's a little business venture we got going.
So if you're a big fan of the show, never mind.
I mean, it's kind of a real thing. Yes. I mean, to date, though, I've known everybody, like somehow I've known everybody that stayed here.
Hmm.
You know, like through the auction, like they're big time buyers and they drive 6-7 hours, they'll stay.
Oh, so they're like picking up art and then they're staying over.
Well, you know, we used to do live auctions.
Right.
So they would drive down, instead of getting a hotel, they would stay here and, you know, drink their morning coffee, looking at eyeball jugs, Benny Carter, Ab the Flag Man, then head over to the auction and make their buys and then, you know, go home.
Anything crazy happen when someone stayed over?
Not at all. No. I mean, here's the thing. I go to bed at like 8:30 and I'm on the like far side of the house. So if it did, I didn't know about it.
No broken jugs or anything?
Oh, no. I mean, dude, I've handled 50,000 pieces of pottery and I've only broke like 4.
That's pretty good. That's good numbers.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, you're talking, I mean, most people handle what, 5 pieces of pottery their life. You're not going to break. They might have handled 2,000 pieces. So yeah, I think you need to handle 10,000 pieces of pottery before you break one. That's kind of the rule.
Okay, I got a question for you. So this is your at-home gallery.
Yes.
Shout out Mike Smith, the at-home gallery.
Oh, now did I steal that name? No, it's not called the at-home gallery. But
no,
yeah,
but
I
I'm
like
saying
where you're going.
This is your gallery at your house.
Right.
What do you like to fill your home gallery with? Is this the best of the best? Is this people you know? Is this what you've collected over the past 2 years, 10 years? What?
I'm proud of you, bro. That is such a good question. Is it the best of the best? Hell no.
Okay.
No, because brass tacks, bro, I can't afford the best of the best. I can't afford Adolf Wuffley, Bill Traylor. I mean, those two are the best of the best when it comes to it. I've got some really cool things and some nice stuff. I mean, you got to understand, when I was buying eyeball jugs, I didn't have the auction.
Right.
Do you know how much an eyeball jug was from Marvin Bailey?
I don't think we should say.
Do you even know?
You've told me before.
$60.
Yeah, that's insane. I can't imagine.
And he would have 5, 6, 7. See, Marvin would set up.
How many would have? 6, 7?
Dude, it's crazy because 6, 7 is coming up. Ever since my kids introduced me to that song,
they say it to me every time I see it.
We should blip that in. 6, 7.
I really don't even know what it is, but
I don't either.
Every time I see Jax, he says 6, 7.
It's a kid thing, man. I got 13-year-olds now. They think they can beat my ass. They're about to turn 14. One of them's taller than me and almost as strong as I am. So it's really crazy. I'm in a crazy spot right now.
Yeah, it was crazy. A couple weeks ago, Kai put on those football pads and he beat up Sully out in the front yard.
Dude, you videoed that.
Yeah.
We're going to show you guys that video. It's going to be crazy. I'm just kidding. That's a joke. We just talked about it. Sully would totally wreck Kai or he would tear his ACL. So either way, it'd be bad because if he wrecked him, I'd beat his ass. And if he tore his ACL, I'd feel really bad. But all right, back to the folk art.
Okay, sorry.
So no, this room is not filled with the best of the best because you got to buy what you can afford. And based off of that, it's the best of the best.
Mm-hmm.
So like, okay, prior to me promoting Benny Carter as much as I did, the world record for Benny Carter was like $3,200. And that was, after that one, it was like $800.
Right.
And then one brought $3,200 at Lee and Little's. The same auction, I bought a 4-foot by 4-foot painting of a baseball stadium by Benny Carter, the lot before or after, for $600.
Okay.
So prior to us promoting Benny Carter like we did and bringing to light how a lot of great paintings, this and that, right? The record was just low. So Benny Carter is still very attainable, even though now the record is 7250 hammer plus 25%.
We sold at your auction.
We hold that record. Ledbetter Auctions holds that record. And that's something to say.
That went higher because that was an early painting and it was his home, or what do you think?
Here's the thing about art, and people out there need to understand this. First of all, $7,000 is not a lot of money for art. We're talking about art, A-R-T, okay? And it's the same genre. It's wall-hanging art. You want to talk about Basquiat, $160 million.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing for a piece of art to be $1 million. I'm talking about $7,000.
Mm-hmm.
So in the art world, it's very low on the spectrum. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we're also talking about an artist that has no publications. Many people don't know who Benny Carter is. They don't know. More and more people are starting to find out, but the fact is, not many people. You know what trips me out?
What?
Let's talk about this for a second. And I'm going to put this guy on what do you call it when I'm going to blow it up here? I'm going to put him on notice.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay, do you know Red Oak? The beer, Red Oak.
Oh, yeah, pass that.
Dude, let us know if you love Red Oak. So we're going to do a Red Oak commercial. You ready? I freaking love Red Oak.
The freshest. That's what it says on the building.
The freshest. They are in Gibsonville or Whitsett. Okay, whatever. But Gibsonville. They're right down the road.
It's a Gibsonville exit.
I am the Highway 61 miniature chair maker, and Red Oak is right off of Highway 61, I think. Okay, they have an art gallery there.
Really?
Yeah. Do you think he has ever reached out to me and said, "Hey, what kind of art do you sell?" The answer is no.
I bet if he knew you, he would.
So you want to hear a funny story?
Yeah.
And I don't even know this guy. Okay, so
Mr. Oak.
I don't think his name's Red Oak. No, he's supposed to be a really cool dude. All right, I'm in the bar, and the bar is amazing, dude. Honestly, if you come to Gibsonville or anywhere near, you have to go to Red Oak. It is. Have you ever been?
I haven't been, but it looks awesome when you pass by. It's big.
It is so freaking cool. They have a garden. So to even get in through the doors, there's like 2 entrances into the garden. You walk through this amazing concrete garden. So it's walkways and it's huge plants. It's just a manufactured garden. And then the building is state of the art. And then when you walk, you take to the right is an entire art gallery, like a multi-million-dollar facility.
I didn't know that. Like what type of art is in there?
So I'll get to that. So to the left though is you go to where it's like a bar, and it's a huge open room, massive seating. It's got the most incredible outdoor seating, and all throughout this place is art because he loves art. And so we're drinking a beer at the bar, and I tell the bartender, I was like, you know how some people don't listen to you? They act like they're listening to you. Well, this person was not listening to me. Now, this was 5 years ago. The art gallery wasn't even open. This was 3 or 4 years ago. I said, hey, man, I'd love to talk to the owner about him and if he knows what self-taught art is. And the guy goes, what'd you say? I said, so I want to know if he knows what self-taught art is. He goes, no, he don't have time for that. He don't have time for that. I said, what do you mean he likes art? He said he doesn't have time to create art. He's not gonna draw. He's not gonna paint. And I go, no. Self-taught art. I'm not talking about him doing art. Mm-hmm. So then I just muted the subject and I was like, never mind. I'm talking to the wrong person.
Yeah.
All right. I still have not gotten in touch with him. However, the gallery is open. here's your question. What kind of art? So we walk into the gallery and it's a state-of-the-art room. Very freaking nice. And I'm looking and I'm like, wait, all these paintings are by the same dude. And I'm like talking out loud because I've had a few beers and me and Jenny are walking through. So I'm like, why are all these paintings? So I'm getting on LiveAuctioneers like, who is this guy? He has no sales records. But that's how art is. It's very commercial sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I was like, why is all this the same person? Well, the curator or the director of his art gallery walks out. I guess she heard us or saw us on camera or whatever. And then she starts answering my questions. So it was an exhibit by a certain artist.
Oh, okay.
So it's a huge room, and he had like 40 paintings by this one artist. They were actually awesome.
They were?
Freaking
like what type amazing. Of style? Are
you would have thought the guy was black, but I think he was actually a white guy because he painted a lot of black figures.
Oh, okay.
Like it looked like if you know anything about African American fine art, mm-hmm. It looked like, I can't really name drop. Oh, dude, I'm having a stroke. Wadsworth Jarrell.
Okay.
It was reminiscent of that. And he's a big name in what we term African American fine art.
What's his name?
Wadsworth Jarrell.
Okay.
I only know that because I picked one once.
Really?
Yeah, and I didn't know who that was. So, but when I started looking the guy up, he was a white guy, and it's like, I don't know why why is it so similar? Because at some point it's like, okay, if there's 50 paintings of African Americans, you would think that it's painted by a black dude, mm-hmm. but it's not. And they were just doing everyday things. So I don't know anything about the artist. And you know what? Maybe he was black. Maybe because I mean, I'm being real. I had 3 beers, so I don't know. It was great art either way. And I told her about Benny Carter, and she freaking glazed over. I could see it. So I stopped and I said, I'll get in touch with you through email. Because, I'd had 3 or 4 beers, so she probably thought I was drunk, but she didn't know who the she was talking to. Number one, she tried to name drop Leland Little. And I was like, that's my boy. Like, yeah. Of course I know Leland. And she was like, oh, me and Leland just got back from somewhere. They went together to view something. I don't know what she was talking about. But anyway, I need them involved in what's going on in Gibsonville. Bottom line. Like,
they're so close.
If he collects art and he does not know what self-taught art is, because that's a thing, he might not. Visionary, outsider, that might not be in his vocabulary. What a shame if it is in his vocabulary and he doesn't know about us, because he's a busy dude, bro. He runs Red Oak. Can you imagine owning Red Oak? All they got going on? I get it, but somebody needs to get him the memo that a mile down the road,
you're doing something,
bro. You and I'm not talking about here. I'm talking about at the auction.
Right.
It is obtainable art, and it's good stuff, and it's under the radar. And talk about having a really cool, like, could you imagine an art place decked out with 50 pieces of Benny Carter? And when I say decked out, I'm saying they take weeks probably to curate this. Mm-hmm. Like, they do it right. Like, it is legit. Every painting has a light. It's a multi-million-dollar facility. I got off on a tangent there, but I'm very passionate about, I'm so close to them, and I don't think they know who I am.
Well,
meaning the auction. I don't think they know that the auction's here.
Yeah. That makes me wonder, do you think that self-taught outsider folk art, do you think it kind of needs to be discovered by people? Like, it's not something people readily know about. They think of the gold frame type art. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but
I get what you're saying. So
it's like, you got to discover the folk artist. You got to discover this type of art to become a fan of it. It's easy just to pass it over.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because I have a book here that I want collectors to know about, because there's a lot of people out there who, and they've commented in, they now are looking for baskets.
Yes.
They now are looking for Salt-Glaze Pottery, mm-hmm. right?
Yeah.
And so we're getting questions like, how do I get deeper into this?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're not the type of person, if you're the type of person that works a 9 to 5 and you don't have a random Wednesday to just drive around and stop in somebody's yard that has 30 whirligigs and figure out, are you making these whirligigs? Where did you get all these? All of a sudden you figure out there's an old man in the back making these whirligigs, painting them, and then sticking them in his yard. And he's, if you're not that type of person, this is how you get into it. You start with this book. I'm giving you insider information. This book is called The Ring Circus. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, this book is not about a particular artist. This book is about an art collection.
Okay.
So it's highlights from the William and Ann Oppenheimer Folk Art Collection.
I think that's kind of cool because you can see what they collect, kind of who they knew. And you always say if it's good enough for their collection, it's probably good enough for yours.
That's right. And so here they are right here. Look at that. Is that coming out, Sully, or is it glaring? So that's the two right there. And they're sitting with a bunch of, look at all those Linville Barkers in the back, the carvings.
Wow. Those are cool.
So in this book, okay, you're going to find these names. Linville Barker, Georgia Blizzard, Ronald Cooper, Howard Finster, Bessie Harvey, Anderson Johnson, S.L. Jones, Charles Kenny, R.A. Miller, Ernest Patton, Mary Proctor, Sultan Rogers, Lorenzo Scott, Mertice West, Brian Dowdle, Jack Beaverland, which we actually have 3 or 4 of those at the auction, Denzel Goodpasture, Vala Simpson, Jimmy Lee Sudduth, Mose Tolliver. That's just to name a few.
That's a pretty good list.
So just by you having this book, and if you're out there saying, well, I wouldn't mind having a self-taught art collection, you get this book, you're going to get the names, and then what do? Well, somebody said the other day, and honestly, I'm not going to go there, but he said it's so boring. Basically, it's so boring that you have to talk about how much this is worth. But it's like, bro, not many people, there's only one person who let Ab live with them the last year and a half of his life. Not everybody is that connected.
Right.
But they want to own an Ab. You see what I'm saying? So you have to understand what they're worth. You don't want to overpay for them, and it might outclass you. It shouldn't, though. $300, $400, $500 will buy them. But if they were $50,000, you might want to know.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So yeah. I'm sorry, but when the format that we have, it's always going to be, there's always going to be that question, this is how much they sell for. Because we're talking about art and we're talking about people trying to obtain the art.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you're trying to collect this stuff,
if you're trying to collect it and obtain it, you're going to have to put a monetary value to it. Mm-hmm. Like I wouldn't want somebody to pay $10,000 for an eyeball jug.
Yeah.
I mean, I would, but at the same time, it's like $2,500 should buy that. Right now. Now, when they start bringing 25, 35 on the regular, 4,500 should buy that.
Right.
When they start bringing 6,000, 7,000 on the regular, 10,000 will buy that.
6, 7, yeah.
Isn't that weird? So all I'm saying is money is part of this, man. And also you talk about how do you get kids involved? Show them that there's a little money involved. Mm-hmm. I'm serious, man.
No, yeah. Your kids love.
My kids, you know what they do when Liberty is around? They don't want to do anything else on that Saturday but go to Liberty. Mm-hmm. They want to go on Thursday when I go and bring their lunch money or their yard money, mowing yards or however they get money. They want to bring all that. And really they want me to do it. They're like, Dad, walk around with me and tell me what to buy. And I do. But now that they're getting older, it's more like, no, bro, I want to see what you do. Go spend $50 and bring it back. And I do that to them. So they are highly functioning 13-year-olds when it comes to, I can spend 100 and make 500, or I can spend 100 and make 100.
Even at your auctions, it was a few months back, but Kai bought like this most random piece of art, and he's like, I'm taking that to, I think it was Liberty.
Bro, that's a real thing. And I sold, that's the first thing I sold.
Yeah.
And he was mad because he said I could have got 200 for it. He paid $30 for it.
I know.
He paid $30. I sold it for like 90. And when I gave him the $90, he's like, Dad, I was going to ask 200 for that. I'm like, Kai, you weren't even there, bro. You were at school. And it was a big piece of art.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had a guy ready to buy it. I'm not holding out for 200. I don't think you would have got that.
Yeah.
So they're very in tune. And so take that from me. Don't be one of these people that say, be it if you want, man, because I'm all inclusive, dude. I'm not trying to, and I wasn't talking shit about that guy.
Yeah.
Because bless his heart. But So do whatever you want to do, but don't be afraid to put money behind. Don't be afraid to talk money when you talk art.
Right.
And some people are like that. And I heard that 20 years ago. Why do we have to term it? Why can't it just be art? Why does it have to be visionary art, folk art? Why does it have to be African-American fine art? Why can't it just be art? Well, the backstory behind that is somebody woke up one day and decided, let's go to this museum. I want to check these paintings out. Why did a Basquiat just bring $100 million and why is he not represented in this gallery?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, isn't that good enough for you to want? And the gallery could have afforded it. They just wasn't representing. And then they dove deeper and they said, holy crap, there's a list of 100 African-American fine artists that are not represented in museums.
Yeah.
They're bringing as much money as a Picasso, as that was lame. I'm sorry. That was, of course, everybody knows Picasso, as a William Merritt Chase or as a John Singer Sargent. So why don't you have this name along in your portfolio? And they the art world made a big stink about it. And
when was this?
This is like 15 years ago.
Okay.
A big article came out in a big magazine, an art magazine, and it was like Basquiat sells for $140 million yet. And I'm not going to name drop the museum because I don't want to say it wrong, but this famous ass museum does not own a Basquiat. How can you not, if you're trying to portray yourself as a museum, how can you not have a Basquiat when one just sold for $140 million? So that was kind of the play. And so now there was a big push 10 years ago to wake up and realize that just because you're black doesn't mean it's folk art.
Mm-hmm.
In 1880, there were black Americans going to school to be an artist. So when you get a degree in art and you paint, you are now a fine artist.
Right. You're taught.
You're taught.
Yeah.
You're not self-taught. You're not an outsider. You're not a visionary. You're an academic artist.
Right.
And for years, people just assumed that if you were an academic artist in the year 1900, you were white. And that is very not true. So there's this group of painters. It's called the Hudson River Paintings. I think it's in Ohio. Don't quote me because
it's in New York.
Hudson River, whatever.
Yeah. Hudson River Valley.
Yeah. Okay, New York. See, there we go. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
All right. And
I think I don't actually know.
A couple of those guys were black.
And they were painting this. Describe that style of art.
I mean, it's classical American oil paintings, landscapes of the Hudson River. And it's in your typical gold gilt frame.
Right.
And beyond you understanding that, and don't quote me on this because I'm not an aficionado on this, but
I think you're right, though.
50 of them were white, but 3 or 4 of them were black. So it's not just a Picasso, William Merritt Chase, and John Singer Sargent thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and that's probably, and so. Well,
William Merritt Chase and John Singer Sargent, they were like that.
They're
American
like the premier
school.
American school painters of the 1880 to 1900 era.
This would be like if you went to the Biltmore House, you would see a bunch of
John Singer Sargent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm name dropping that because my dad picked one of those.
Yeah.
And so that just resonates with me. And then I'm also name dropping William Merritt Chase because I stood there and saw one bring $750,000 and the picker paid $1,500 for it.
That's so crazy.
And he's crying on the phone with his wife saying 200,000, 300,000. No, I'm serious. 400,000 because she couldn't come to the auction. I mean, it changed his life. And so William Merritt,
that was in Mebane.
In Mebane, yeah. It
wasn't an online auction either.
2001. It was in person.
In person.
Yeah. 750 was the hammer, and he didn't even charge a buyer's premium.
Really?
Yeah, he made the percent from the seller. That was back in the day, man. He was like one of the last people to charge a buyer's premium. So my point is, why did we start talking about African-American fine art?
You were just saying how it didn't really get respect till recently.
Yeah. The artist. Wait, why did I start talking about it?
You were saying about that magazine article 10 years ago, how these big museums weren't classifying it as fine art. They were still classifying it as maybe folk art. Not necessarily like outsider, but like that early American folk art.
In our field of self-taught art, there are a lot of black artists. Most Tolliver. I mean, just this list right here. Okay. Hell, I'm gonna be honest, I'm so stupid. I don't even know. Bessie Harvey Anderson Johnson. They're African American.
The King, Bill Traylor.
Sultan Rogers, Lorenzo Scott. I don't know about Jack Beaverland, Jimmy Lee Sodeth, and Mose Tolliver. They're all black dudes. Everybody else is white. So it's really 50-50, but I'm going to be honest, and I know this from experience. I told you the dude paid $4,200 for a Benny Carter and got shipped. He had it. A couple months later, I put out an email and I say, Benny Carter, told all about him, gave pictures of Benny. Dude calls me. He's like, Matt, I thought Benny was black. It's like, no, man, he's white. And that's where Benny's white. I mean, Benny knew this. Sam the Dot Man, one of Benny Carter's best friends, was a black artist from Winston-Salem, right there with Benny Carter. And if you compare their art, it's very similar because it's self-taught.
Didn't they? I think someone told you a story, or maybe you told me about how Benny would help him draw the snakes or something.
Yeah, so Sam didn't know how to intertwine the snake. Sam didn't know how to make it look like the snake wrapped around the tree.
Right.
So Sam would draw the tree, and then he would just draw a snake. And so, where's my pen?
Right here.
Let me see. All right, let me draw this. So this is how Sam would do his snake. So that's how Sam would do the snake. And it just looks like it's plastered on the tree.
It's like a dollar sign.
That's nothing to do with that.
No, I'm just saying visually, it's like an S over the tree.
Well, let's make it bigger then, so it doesn't look like a dollar sign. All right, so that's how he would draw the snake. So you would see the tree, and then the snake would just be floating on the tree instead of being wrapped around it. And so this one time, we had a Sam the Dot Man painting, right? And it was an object. So on one side it had this, on one side it had that. And Ron walks up to me and he goes, Benny Carter drew that, painted that snake. I said, how do you know that? He was like, because Sam didn't know how to do that. And I've got pictures of Sam.
That's pretty cool.
I've got pictures.
Sam the Dot Man and Benny Carter collab.
Sam the Dot Man and Benny T. Carter. All they did was try to paint harder. Ab the Flag Man lived next door. He didn't want to be in Atlanta no more.
Oh, that's a new line.
No, that was the original.
Oh, before he died?
Yeah.
Sorry, Ab.
All right. No, Ab, you know what's so funny is all these mushrooms grow right outside the auction now. And me and Jenny pulled up the other day and she's like, oh, Ab. like yesterday, there's like 7 or 8 mushrooms right outside the auction, right behind the mailboxes. Mm-hmm. And Jenny's like, oh, Ab.
That is funny.
I mean, it's crazy.
That's cool.
All right. But so, yes, Sam the Dot Man, Benny Carter, Mary Proctor, Jimmy Lee Sudduth, Mose Tolliver. The only white dude right there is Benny Carter.
Purvis Young.
I'm
just naming what I see.
But I'm telling you, it's about 50-50 on race. I mean, it's just what it is who is without a job because either they retired or in Benny's case, he got fired. Mm-hmm. He got let go in 1993.
After working the same place basically his whole life.
He started when he was 16, Halstead Metals. He was 48 years old when he got laid off.
Wow. Okay. So that is really young.
Yeah. He was 48 when he got laid off. For no reason other than they were probably paying him too much and they probably wanted to hire a 22-year-old that they could pay starting salary, $20,000 back then in 93, whatever they wanted to start him at. So he sat around Benny Carter. Now y'all got to understand this. Benny Carter. That's a Benny Carter. The one above it's a Benny Carter. That's Ab the Flag Man. All these right here are Benny Carter. Can they see the one on the far? The one on the far left, the blue frame, that's my dad painting Sam the Dot Man and Benny Carter in the same room.
Well, that's why I grabbed this because, I mean, is that a self-portrait?
That's a self-portrait.
This is who we're talking about, Benny Carter right here.
So he was 48 years old. He lost his job, and he had been making birdhouses, and we have a birdhouse dated 1986, 1987. He was sitting around feeling sorry for himself, 92, 93, lost his job. And then his version is he heard a voice that said, do art. So he says to some of his friends, what do I do? Because he was a low-level antique dealer on the side. So he knew a lot of people in that world. He knew that art was worth money. And so somebody is walking around his property, and he had made an Empire State Building birdhouse. And they said, why don't you paint that in a painting? You just painted it on a birdhouse with the taxi cabs. Why don't you put that on a painting? And then boom, the story of Benny Carter began. And from 93 to 2014, he created thousands and thousands of works. How many? Who knows? Well over 10,000. And that's not a lie. 10,000. That means you create 100 pieces of art. You got to do 900 more to get to 1,000. Then you got to do that 10 more times. That is a lot of art. And I'm going to say it was more like 20,000. Okay. Now, who knows though?
If you count the birdhouses.
Could we find out? We probably really could find out. We could really go hard for a year. We could do one of those sabbatical things or whatever you do when you're a professor and you take a leave of absence. You still get paid for it. Who's going to pay us? Who will pay us to figure this out? Because we will. So I'm going to call it 10,000. He created 10,000 pieces of art from 1993 to 2014. And then he was found shot to death in his recliner with a gunshot wound coming up through his stomach, and it came up through his heart. And they ruled it a suicide, mostly because he had just caught his entire arm on fire with gasoline because he was starting a fire with gasoline. Mm-hmm. He was very seriously burned. He had pain pills for that. And they found that prescription beside his recliner. And so I think they just his wife had just died from cancer. Don't quote me on how many years, but very recently, like within a year, maybe. Don't quote me on that. I got to study more on that. But
it was a rough time, is what you're saying.
People would say, oh, he's depressed. He just killed himself. Now, I personally know, I'm not going to talk. We need to bleep that out. People.
We'll cover that later.
Scoot.
Yeah.
People. Anyway, suicide went down. I mean, dude, he was an active artist. Nobody thought he was going to die. He wasn't that old. I mean, 43 to 2014. He was 70. He could have easily lived 10 more years. He just sat around and drank beer. He was relaxed.
Yeah.
And he was an artist. He didn't have, you know what I'm saying? So easily could have lived 10 more years, created another 10,000. Who knows where he would have gone with his art?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it abruptly ended.
Yeah.
Just like that. So what was the next step? What happened when he died? So he had a living environment, meaning his house was littered with his art, like outside. It's called an environment. So when we get a piece of his birdhouse art, it's called environmental art. His taxi cab cutouts that stuck in the ground, that's environmental art.
And this is popular of folk artists.
Yeah, so
James Harold Jennings, he had his school
tons
bus,
of them.
Howard Finster.
Most folk artists.
What's the place? Pascaton or something? You know that place?
Mm-mm.
That was another big folk artist, I think, in Georgia.
Yeah. So like R.A. Miller was environmental art. Almost I would say every self-taught folk artist, visionary artist had some form of environmental art going on.
Yeah.
They might not have had enough to make it a thing. I mean, when you went to Sam Doyle's house, it was an environment of painted tins.
Purvis Young, didn't he?
He hadn't.
Every piece was like connected to the next piece.
Yes,
It was like a wall of art.
Well, the Good Bread Alley, which is where it all started, was an environmental art piece. It was a building that was just no space between the art to art, covered in art. And there's pictures of that in books.
A lot of his art feels like it's disassembled from a larger piece.
No. I'm saying it was little pieces put together. Right. It looked like one piece, but it was individual pieces.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. I'll go ahead and say this. There probably are some people out there who, so Purvis, we're jumping. Do you want to jump from Benny to Purvis?
Sure.
So here's the connection with Benny and Purvis. And this is true. There's some people out there that don't want to accept this.
Purvis Young was out of Florida. Is that right?
Purvis was in Miami.
He was in Miami? Okay.
Yeah, Miami, Florida. I think I'm right about that. Man, listen, I know so much that I've forgotten half I know and forgotten half the things that I knew.
I'm trying to figure it out, but it is a lot.
Like, I'm serious. Like, I've gotten so much through my brain that I've forgotten half of it. But Purvis Young's Miami, 100%.
I know there's like a big gallery in Florida where he has like, I don't know.
Well, there's big galleries all over with Purvis Young. Purvis Young is like the real deal. The problem with Purvis, okay, let me connect the dots with Benny Carter and Purvis.
Okay, sorry.
There's a big folk art show. I want to say it was in New York. I heard this story from Ron. Ron had a first chair experience of this. My confidant, Ron Causey.
Dead Ron.
I was waiting. I needed to say that. Dead Ron. All right. My buddy. Okay. He saw this, and I've told this story to people, and they don't believe me. So Benny would take a month to create a painting.
Right.
He would set 3 or 4 paintings up, and he would paint every painting black. Then he'd go back when that dries, and he would paint a silver cityscape, paint them all. Then he would do red dots for the windows. Then he'd go back and do yellow. He would do that to all 3. It would take him a month to create those paintings, though.
He filled every centimeter.
Look at not those 2, but if you look at these right here, yeah. I mean, like every piece of that painting is a dot or something to create the structure. All right. Ron Causey and Benny Carter were coming out of a hotel, and it was a big folk art event.
Oh, is this in Atlanta, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Okay, maybe it was Folk Fest in Atlanta. There we go. I'm thinking New York. See, you got to understand, I wasn't involved in this back then. This was in, Purvis Young died in 2010, I think.
This is probably early 2000s.
Yeah, so 1943 to 2010. I know that because it's the same year Benny was born. I thought that was cool.
That is cool.
They're both born in 43. Oh, I want to apologize for something too. Andy Warhol did not create the Campbell soup can.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but see, that's where I go with like some things I make up in my head and some things I don't. But this is a true story. So Ron and Benny are staying in a hotel room.
They're at some folk art
event. I want to say Folk Fest.
Which was in Atlanta.
Was in Atlanta by Slotin. But see, you got to understand, this is how cool this is. There was 1 year, and this is all advertised in Raw Vision that year. There's 1 year where Slotin had his Folk Fest. Kimball Sterling had something called the Folky Showy right down the street.
I love that name. That's cool.
Because they were in a battle. And then Benny and Ron had their own folk art show called Atlanta 98. And all 3 of these are advertised in the Raw Vision that year. And it's so funny to see because you see Slotin's full page ad, then you see Kimball Sterling's full page ad, and then you see Benny Carter and Ron's ad. It's like that. I always thought that was a trip.
That is cool.
Because a full page ad is like $1,800, $2,000 in Raw Vision.
If you're in there, you're in there.
If you're in there, we're in there 3 pages back to back to back, baby.
Yeah.
Last episode or last printing. So anyway, they walk out of the hotel with Benny Carter and Ron Causey, and they see Purvis Young sitting on the floor with paint and whatever he was painting on, paper, newspaper, whatever it was. He would draw one of his protester people, and he'd sell it for $30
all day.
$30. $30. And Benny Carter was like, basically what he said was, look at that son of a sitting there making that much money that quick, and I'm sitting here taking a month to create a painting, and I can't even sell it for $600. And he's $30, $30, $30, $30, $30, or $50, whatever it was. I mean, it wasn't $5.
Right.
Okay. And it infected his brain to say, okay, I'm going to lessen my brushstrokes, whether he knew it or not, and I'm going to churn some art out. Instead of taking a month to create 4 paintings, I'm going to do 5 in a day. I'm going to do 5. You see what I'm saying? And his art changed after that. It really did. It got less. And that happens to artists. It's still good art. It's still a Benny Carter.
Mm-hmm.
But you asked the question earlier, what made that bring $7,200? I've studied enough to term, and this is in the book, Benny Carter has a masterpiece phase. He was creating his masterpieces, and let's just say his New York City scenes are some of his masterpieces, but they're not all equal. He has a masterpiece phase where he had perfected his brushstroke, and he was sparing no expense on the time. He was taking as much time as needed to get it right. And there's a 3 or 4 year stretch where he did that. And I'm going to call it 95 to 98.
Okay.
So I bet he saw Purvis in 98, 99 when they did Atlanta 98.
Yeah.
So they called, Benny and Ron called their event Atlanta 98. Did you go to Atlanta 98? Have you ever been to Folk Fest? Did you go to the Folky Showy?
Yeah, if you went to any of those, please tell us.
God, tell us. That would be so
like
cool.
We just missed it. Just missed.
Well, bro, 96, I was born in 82, so what was I, 12, 13, 14?
Yeah, I think I was 4, but I should have been there.
Are you that young?
I was born in 93.
Oh, God.
The year Benny Carter got laid off.
Yeah. Not 92 or 93. It's a little unclear. But
1900s. We were born in the 1900s.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's 2025. That is wild, man.
Yeah. We were just comparing Purvis Young and Benny Carter and how Benny Carter's art went through like a masterpiece phase, which you would see these highly detailed New York scenes. And then kind of after 98, he saw what Purvis Young was doing. His stuff was more gesture based. Like Purvis Young had a very different style.
Well, what it was he just quit spending so much time. Because nobody, and that's what disgruntled Benny in the art world. Nobody wanted to pay him $600 for a painting.
And he was a living artist. He needed to sell his art.
That's what his deal was. He was a living artist, but nobody wanted to pay him $600 for a painting. They wanted him for 100 or less, 80, 100. And he was like, it took me a month to do that. I can't do that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So Purvis woke him up to don't spend so much time on it, lower the price. I'll sell more, this and that. But he created fantastic art his whole life, despite that. And then just one day it was gone. Do you want to talk about some of the ones that are in here, or?
Yeah, I was trying to see if this had a date on it.
That's probably 9. Let me see. I can date it for you. This is definitely 95.
Can you zoom in on this one, Sully?
So this is 95, 96. House of Blues, Love Art, Hotel, Go to School, God Art, Madison Square Garden. So there's no date, but it's definitely from the 95 to 98. There's no hair on the Statue of Liberty, so that's a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a thing that you discovered.
That's a way to date it. Yeah, because he started putting hair around 2000, 2001. 99/2000 is when he started putting hair.
I mean, this says 70,000 on the back, but I don't think this is number 70,000.
That was probably a $100 piece back then. Now, what is it now? It's actually a crazy great painting. So what is it now? Who knows? I mean, it's not for sale, but...
To wrap up Benny Carter, some of his earlier pieces didn't have, every inch, every centimeter filled with taxi cabs and people.
His very first New York City scenes really do look very childlike. There is nothing childlike about that.
Right.
A child could not do that.
No, I mean, he's painting with,
I mean, that is a
like
that is a meticulous brushstroke that created that.
Yeah.
A talent created that. So he took his self-taught talent. His very first New York paintings did look very childlike. A box with splashes for windows, big taxi cabs. I mean, yes, a child could have done it, but he perfected it and got to the point where he was like a master of his self-taught work.
And I think it's really cool how it's like, it's every horizontal line up he is filled.
Well,
like, you know what I mean? Like
he was addicted. He was addicted. It's like a hoarder. It's like a hoarder. It's like a hoarder. He was addicted to filling the canvas up. When he thought he was done,
a folk art printer. He just went line by line all the way down.
Have you ever tried to make dots on a structure? I get bored after about 20. So he was a master at his style. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And I think when the book comes out, people are going to realize that. So.
I think the New York stuff is just so cool to see.
But this episode took a few different turns. I still want to hone in on how to build your collection. This all started because you said, is this the best of the best? The answer is no. Because I'm a normal dude. I can't spend $10,000 on a piece of art. Not now. Some of this stuff is worth $10,000 now, but that Radcliffe Bailey hanging on the wall, he's an African American fine artist. I bought that. I picked that in a group. I bought about 70 paintings at once. It was worth $3,000 or $4,000 back then, but since then, he's died of brain cancer. This was back in like 2014. So since then, it might be a $10,000 piece, maybe, but there's only a specific auction house that could get that, and that's Swans. They have an African American fine art auction, every quarter, something like that. So,
well, I mean, when I come in here, I think this is, this is all very much you, like what you love to collect.
It's what I like.
It's the best.
I'm connected to a lot of these artists.
And I think it's the best of your best, if that makes sense. Like
yeah,
these are
right.
the best walking sticks.
Right.
You have some of the best Abbott flags. You have great Benny Carters, the eyeball jugs. It's like anything that's of this world that you're exposing us to.
Right.
This is top tier.
Yeah.
Is there more folk art out there? Of course.
Of course. I don't have an R.E. Miller in here. So out of this list, I don't have a Linville Barker, Georgia Blizzard in here. I don't have a Linville Barker at all. Ronald Cooper, hand me the cane over there. Go get the cane with all the dicks on it. I don't have a Howard Finster. I don't have a Bessie Harvey. I got an Anderson Johnson.
You don't have
somewhere.
any Howard Finster?
No.
Yes, you mean
I do.
in here?
I do have a Howard Finster. So this is Ronald Cooper. He does Devils. And I love this cane. This cane actually went through the auction back in my very first or second auction.
You want me to hold it so you can talk about it?
The guy paid $350 for it. And then when he came to pick it up, he made a gesture like, I can't believe I bought this. I'm like, dude, if you don't want it, I will pay you what you paid. I'll give you $50 extra. He was like, really? I was like, yes, I love it. He was like, you can have it. And I paid him. So now it's mine. I mean, he just didn't know about the dicks in his house. You know what I'm saying? And I get that. Here's a dick, a naked lady, and a dick. I mean, you gotta have the right space for that.
You gotta have a folk art room for that.
You gotta have a folk art room for that.
Yeah.
So that's Ronald Cooper. S.L. Jones, I have. Charles Kenny, I have. R.A. Millers, I have, but not displayed in here. Ernest Patton, I don't have. I do have Mary Proctor's in here. Don't have Sultan Rogers. Don't have Lorenzo Scott. No Mertice West. No Brian Daddle. No Jack Beaverland. I have 30 Denzel Goodpasture Canes. No Wallace Simpson. No Jimmys and no Moes in here. So with as great as this is, oh my God, I'm missing a lot of obtainable art because these are $200 to $300 to $400, $500 pieces. They're not. Linville Barker stuff does bring like $1,200 and up. Some of these bring a lot more, but Jimmy Lee sodas routinely bring $400, $500. Moe's Solver's the same. Wallace Simpson, you're going to have to pay up for. Denzel Goodpasture canes get sold all the time for $200.
And they're awesome.
Oh, they're freaking awesome.
Yeah,
We're going to see a lot of them. Mary Proctor's art is such great art, but when it comes to auction, it could be 80, 90, it could be 200, it could be 1,000, but a lot of it falls in that 200 to 300. So it's very obtainable.
I think her stuff too is so undervalued for how
it is. And that's the way a lot of self-taught artists are. Like, dude, I wouldn't sell you that for less than 10 grand.
Right.
I mean, that is edgy art right there. Look at those lines. Turn that to that. Look at those lines. And it is upper end folk art, dude. Upper end self-taught art.
Tell them which one you're talking about.
I'm talking about the jazz player, the whatever you call that. What's that instrument? Saxophone player. Music heals the body and the soul.
And she always has some type of message on it. And she framed it.
And she doesn't frame a lot of art, but her or her husband put that frame around it. I love it. I wouldn't take 10 grand for that. It's $125 to $400 piece of art at auction. It might bring 1,000. That would be upper end. So Ab made me this. I wouldn't take 10,000 for that. It's not worth that. He never made a banjo. He knew I played the banjo. He made me that. That's a killer piece of art by him too.
So
all these are scraps.
How did you choose what's in here? How was it as you collected? Because I see some new baskets over there that I've seen you buy recently.
So,
but like
it kind of just goes. Once you get one basket, you get another one. Then you got to get more.
Like, where did you start in here? And what did it look like?
I probably put a couple pieces of furniture and one piece of pottery.
Right. So it started with some pottery.
Yes. I mean, I had the pottery I've been buying since I was like 8 or 9. So I mean, like Salt-Glaze Pottery, I've been into my whole life. And once I started elevating my collection, I wanted to get some signed Alamance County pottery. Really rare. Not to say it's worth the most, but a signed Solomon Loy, a signed Wood and Boggs, which is a really rare jar. And now's a great time to buy because they're coming out of collections. A great collection was built in the 70s and 80s. Now that person is getting their collection back on the market, and it's all coming at once. Not once every year you're getting this piece, that piece, that piece. Now there's 25 Salt-Glaze pieces of pottery coming out at once.
Can we just show them what Salt-Glaze pottery is one more time? If there's one you want to point out and have solved.
Yeah, like bring that one on the right, because this is actually, this is one of the better drippy Alamance County.
And we had a question about what is the drip? Like why does that occur?
I'm not. So this is a great piece of pottery from Alamance County, but this is what makes it.
The drip,
bro. This is where I fall short, because I'm not studious enough to really know the science behind firing, right? But basically in the kiln, they drop salt or whatever glass. They put a chunk of glass and it melts down. The drip, though, I think is from salt. They splash it with salt, and see how it gets caught right here as the salt hits. See how it gets caught there and it drips down
on the inside too.
So they're flashing it, and that's what these. Now, don't quote me on that. We need a potter to really tell us what that is.
But at the end of the day, this is intentional.
But that's what you want.
This is
that is an intentional decoration on these jars, and it makes them stronger. A lot of these runs would go over a handle. Like imagine a handle put on with clay and then a piece of glass, and the glass runs down and helps the handle become strong.
You can feel like, I see what you're saying, how it could make it stronger.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you guys moved into this house and you decided this was going to be your folk art room, you started with some of your better Salt-Glaze pottery. And then what was next? Was it walking sticks? What did you... I
mean, I had a good walking stick collection already. So those were out. And then I started thinking, I want some good baskets.
Wait, did you move in furniture?
Well, the couches and all. Yeah. And then the blanket chests. I had this vision that I want. Blanket chests don't bring anything anymore. So $1,000 blanket chest from 10 years ago, 20 years ago is now a $200 blanket chest. But I still love them. So I wanted to stack them. That's my vision.
You told me that one time.
Like I've got like 15 blanket chests. I know a guy that's got a stack of them in his house, floor to ceiling. They're incredible.
That's so cool.
Now, don't get me wrong. We just sold a blanket chest for $7,000, but 20 years ago, that might have been a $50,000 one.
Okay, so you moved in. It was pottery, furniture, walking sticks.
Yep.
Who's this walking stick?
I don't know who that is, but actually, I have a book who I found him in. He's a Michigan decoy carver.
Yeah. Okay.
And I got that stick off LiveAuctioneers for like $180. That's no big deal. But I wouldn't take. I'd sell it for $5,000.
Yeah, it is.
But
great.
I actually have a walking stick auction catalog where they sold 500 canes. This, not this exact stick, but this carver is in there, and they say this is by a Michigan decoy carver, and that's why it's so smooth and it just looks like he was that good of a carver. You know what I mean? So.
All right, and then after the walking sticks, you went to baskets.
Baskets. I mean, it's all it's all an ongoing thing.
But what was like your first wall hanger in here? Is it still hanging right now, or like how did you?
Well, see, that's the other thing. Like folk art is bought by the dozens.
Right.
I didn't buy one Mary Proctor. I bought 50.
Yeah.
I didn't buy one walking stick. I found an auction house who was selling a 300 stick collection, 30 sticks at a time, 10 lots, and I was paying like $400 for 30 sticks. I bought 3 of those lots. So I got 90 sticks at once.
Wow.
I pulled the best 5 or 6 out, and I started peddling the rest at an antique show. See, that's another way to get into this. I paid $300, $400 plus 25% plus shipping. Can you imagine shipping 90 canes? Do you know how much that cost?
No.
I battled the auction house. I didn't have an auction at the time. I said, just stick them all in a box and get them here. I'm not paying $50 a stick.
Because
you know what I'm saying?
They were going to do them all individual?
I don't know what the they were going to do, but the first price they gave me was crazy. So I called them and I said, look, please do it like this. So that it was one box with 90 canes in it. Okay. I pulled the 5 or 6 that I really liked. And you know what I did with the rest of them? I sold the out of them. I went to Liberty. I've been setting up at Liberty since I was like 18. Oh my God, this is a true story. I built a rack out of 2x4s. It had a bottom. I drilled holes for the stick to sit in. It was like an 8-foot rack that I put on an 8-foot table. And I did not put notches on the top though. So I had the sticks set in the bottom and I had 40 sticks set up. First person that came in my booth at Liberty picked one up, every fucking stick fell. That's a true fucking story. And I've got these priced like $150, $200. I'm like, oh my God, I should have put notches on that 2x4. Can you imagine what I'm saying? Yeah. I built a rack to hold the sticks at an angle, but I didn't put a notch at the top so the sticks would just slide. So I set them all back up. I swear to God, the next person that came in did the same fucking thing. Do you know what I did after that? I broke up that 2x4 contraption and I just laid them out on the damn table.
Did either of those people buy it?
I don't know. I think they were mortified. I mean, can you imagine walking into a booth and just knocking everything? But it was my fault. So anyway, that is one thing that helped me be a collector, being able to sell the stuff.
Yeah. So
I would go to Marvin. I would buy, this is before the auction. I would go to a show, and this is what people do. They go to a show, they buy 20 pieces of pottery, they keep 3 and sell 17.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
And then you got new money to
go out and buy. Yeah, and you call it upgrading. So you don't have to start with a Marvin Bailey eyeball jug. You start with a $80 piece of Marvin or a $100 piece of Marvin. Then you turn that into a $300, turn that into a $500, turn that into $1,000, and then you got it.
Because you're always going to be buying.
It's called upgrade. You buy what you can afford, but don't misinterpret that. Get a base of knowledge.
Right.
Understand what an old basket is versus a new basket, and know that an old miniature basket far exceeds the price of a new one. Mm-hmm. And know that, then buy what you can afford. Know that an Alamance County piece of pottery with drips all over it, stunning drips, is upper end. If it's stamped, with a name on it, it's upper end. Know that before you go into it blind, and then buy what you can afford. I can only afford the Salt-Glaze jug without the drips for $85. It sits around. All of a sudden, you got 4 of them. Now you can sell all 4 of those for $400 and get that one good one.
Right.
You paid $400 for the one good one. You do that 3 times. Now you've got 4 good ones. You can sell for $500 a piece. Then you pay $2,000 for the signed drippy example. You see what I'm saying? And so you just keep upgrading. That's basic collecting though. Like when you collect cards as a kid, baseball cards, you don't start out with a 52 Mantle.
Right.
You freaking start out with whatever you do, then you trade. Then you get that 1957 Mickey Mantle, which, you know, before this is, you could obtain those well now, but I mean, easily back in the day, not that much money. Now with the grading system, it's crazy. So that's a bad example because that's out of sight.
Okay. So you went, just walk me through this collection a little bit more before it all goes away.
Well, you got to understand. So here's the deal.
Like, I just want to know
y'all got to understand
how you selected what to hang up in here.
You got to understand who I am.
Okay.
Where I came from. My father was a door knock picker. He picked a John Singer Sargent painting. He was walking through the field to look at a plow and told the guy, if you've got a 4-handled jar, I'll pay $500 for it. The guy said, I got one. And it was a 15-gallon 4-handled JCM. It brought $15,000. That's what I grew up around. So when I went to auction school, I went there with 60 people. Leland Little came to do a talk because every day 2 or 3 auctioneers, like actual auctioneers, would come. They would teach the class an hour. And so Leland Little was there doing antiques. And he was talking this and talking that. And I was 25 years old in 2006, about 25. And it came to light that I was a picker. And he knew that I understood what Edgefield pottery was. Well, how many people in that room of 60 do you think knew what Edgefield pottery was?
1.
Me.
Yeah.
So this 50-year-old, 45, 50-year-old raised his hand and said, well, what if you don't know what any of this stuff is? And you know what Leland said? It's too late. And you know what else he said? You got a 20-year-old that can pick a piece of Edgefield out from 50 feet away, and you're 50 and you don't even know what Edgefield is. It might be too late. I mean, he was brass taxing it. Mm-hmm. You know?
There's too much to know.
So I'm not saying that.
That's how I feel sometimes. Like,
well, you should, because it's a lot.
Like, I just want to try to know
validated feelings.
North Carolina stuff, because I feel like that's enough for I think try to learn that all day and still not know it all.
Right. Well, clearly I don't know it all. I thought freaking Andy Warhol manufactured the design for Campbell's soup and Brillo. So obviously, you know what I do have though? I have a self-portrait of Andy Warhol.
Really? That's
damn
cool.
Right. Nobody believes it's real because I'm Matt Ledbetter, peon.
They'll believe one day.
We need to get that on dude, it's badass. And I swear it's real because it's got the marks on the back. It was exhibited at Greenwich Village.
Mm-hmm. In New York.
Yeah. And it's got the circle label on the back with the gallery number. Like, it's legit. It's
here?
right. No, hell no. I got it hidden.
Okay, sorry.
Well, I sold a Basquiat once that we thought was $2 million.
I remember seeing that, yeah.
Yeah, and I had it hidden here behind a piece of furniture while it was up. So we sold a Vincent, a Monet. We sold a Monet, a little sailboat. It brought $17,000. And here's the deal on that. If you're a nobody like me, you don't get to sell a $10 million painting. They're not going to let you. The art world is not going to let you.
Right.
And that's true. I don't care, but that's true. If I pick a $10 million painting, you think I'm going to run it through Ledbetter auctions? I'm not that stupid. I'm going to send that bitch to Mary's or Christie's. What is it? I'm just kidding. To Christie's, Sotheby's.
I haven't heard of Mary's, but
I'm not selling a $10 million painting at Ledbetter auctions.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for that. I'm not stupid. Okay? So we have this Monet, and here's how I know the Monet was real. You ready for this? The same picker that sold the William Merritt Chase for $750,000, he brought me the Monet.
That's cool.
And he said, I think you're the only one that'll get behind this. And he told me the story, and he picked it for nothing. And this knowledgeable art dealer 20 years ago walked in this guy's house, and the guy said, let me show you this. And from 50 feet away, he was walking down the hall, and the guy said, oh my goodness, you have a Monet. And Ben was like, that's what I think too. Nobody would risk what it takes to say I'm selling a Monet, except dumbass Matt Ledbetter. So I get the Monet. I've got a Basquiat, 1.5 million projected. A Monet. What's a Monet worth?
I mean,
what's it worth? Millions?
Yeah.
Okay. We got a pencil drawing by Picasso. They're like $1,500 to $2,000. No big deal there. Picasso created hundreds of thousands of pieces of art. Okay, 50,000. Massive work. Massive amounts of art Picasso did. Okay. Some people don't understand that, but
yeah, did he die in the 70s? That's still pretty recent.
I think it was like 56. I don't even know. It might have been the 80s. Look that up, Sully, please. Picasso, born death. Some people, when I was young at picking, I thought Picasso was like an 1880 guy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how stupid I was. I was out here looking for Picassos thinking that it was, no. What's his born and death? What the is he doing?
I don't know.
Oh, you need our Wi-Fi, man. All right, so
Wi-Fi password is tiggity biggity
biggity bone 10, but I'm not going to slow down. It's tiggity biggity bone 10, 15, 20 to 5 to 30 to 5, 40 to 5, bitty bitty 5, bitty bitty 5.
Exclamation point.
I think I pissed my wife off. She had to go to the auction to let somebody pick up a piece of tile.
We could have gone over there.
Fucking $5 piece of tile.
We should have just gone.
I'm not open on Fridays. I about got in a boxing match with a guy the other day. Do we want to talk about this?
Sure.
He doesn't know that I almost got in a boxing match with him.
What'd he do?
He didn't know our fucking hours. Bro, I'm open Tuesday, Thursday, 9:30 to 3. Now, I love this guy. And since for 24 hours, it was crazy, but he said, I'm sorry, whatever. I'm sorry, but do you know that most of my job is going to pick this material up?
Yeah, that's a huge part that I don't think
Where the
people
do you think all this stuff comes from? Have you seen my auction gallery? Yeah. Thousands of pieces. What do you think? It just walks in the door? No, I have to go pack pottery for a whole day. Well, when the do you think I'm going to do that? You think I'm going to stay at my auction Monday through Friday waiting on your ass to pick up a $5 piece of tile, a $20 piece of pottery? No. Mondays and Tuesdays, 9:30 to 3. Why do I leave at 3? Because football practice starts at 6, and I start preparing for that at 3:05. Okay? Brass tacks. And if it ain't football season, it's baseball, basketball, whatever the hell the sport I'm coaching is. So I'm sorry that our pickup times don't work for whoever the fuck it is.
You're figuring it out.
I'm not figuring shit out. I'll never change. We're open Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9:30 to 3 for pickups. I'll ship it to you or pay somebody to come get it 9:30 to 3 if you can't. I literally almost so he had $1,700 worth of
shit. You were going to put it outside.
I was going to put it outside and fucking destroy it with a baseball bat and refund him. I am not kidding. Like, I was psychotic there for a second. There was somebody there picking up, and bless their heart because they caught the brunt of this. I went to Rachel. So I was on the podium. I got off the phone with him. I walked to Rachel. I said, Rachel, give me his invoice. I'm going to put out every thing he bought outside. I'm going to light it on fire. And then when I found out it was all pottery, I was like, all right, I'm going to bust the out of all of it. Like, I went through that.
I'm glad you've made it out of that.
Cut this.
Okay.
And put it up 5 years from now.
Okay.
But this is so real. All those feelings were going through me.
Mm-hmm.
Why did we start talking about that? I said no. We're waiting on Sully. Then I said I think my wife's mad. Anyway,
I was right. 1973.
God, he was almost 100 years old.
1881 to 1973. Pablo Picasso.
So you got to understand
this guy was famous or something.
Picasso? Are you fucking with me? Okay. Whatever. Oh, I'm sorry. If you don't know who Picasso is and you're watching this, do we want to disown them?
No, I mean,
are you sure?
Yeah, because there's so much
I think Picasso, I call bullshit on that. If you don't know who, you don't have to know when he was born and died, but I'm fucking sorry. If you're alive and you don't know who Picasso is, you probably need to put your phone down because you're looking at TikTok too much. Yeah, but I assume that TikTok might have told you who Picasso is. I want to go on a limb and say that everybody we encounter knows who Picasso is. Are you not agreeing with that?
I just don't want to assume.
You don't want to piss You don't want to piss nobody off.
No, I don't care about pissing them off.
Raise your hand if you know that Picasso is a painter. That's all you need to know.
Okay, well, you got to understand, we have fans in Australia now.
I guarantee you people in Australia know who a Picasso is.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Know who Picasso is.
We could have, who knows who's watching
It's like not knowing who Jesus is.
Okay.
I'm being serious about that. Bro, Picasso is a household name.
It's a great name. I mean, I think that's part of it. It's such a good name.
I mean, am I wrong about this?
I don't know.
I'm gonna
Do you know who Picasso
My
is?
statement is everybody knows who Picasso is.
Where's the line?
Everybody
should know
alive is
Monet.
No, I didn't say that. I said Picasso.
It's just Picasso.
And maybe
Jesus.
No, man. I mean, I'm not even going to say that you need to know the 4 Ninja Turtles, but you probably need to know who Leonardo da Vinci is.
Okay, yeah.
But see, this is how dumb I was. I will say this. I thought Leonardo da Vinci and Picasso were like the same era.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
I
I'm
think
talking
a lot
about
of people mess that up.
I'm talking. You're laughing so hard you're crying? Or are you sweating?
Yeah, no, I'm crying.
All right. No. So I was like 20, 21, 20. Let me tell you how stupid I was. I had been buying pottery with my dad since I was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, I was 14 years old when I was up in the attic digging out bottles with the old man, and down the steps, I heard him say, "I'll pay $200 for that." And I thought, man, that must be good. We go down. It's a piece of salt-glaze pottery. It has the words AC written on it.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
AC. Craven?
Craven. Very good.
Yes.
But what is AC? J.D. Craven's father.
Oh.
Anderson Craven. Not John Anderson Craven. Not J.D. Craven. Jacob Doris Craven. But Anderson Craven. Very early. Signed. And what was cool was that there was this 2 little things on it, and it was growing moss. And I asked the guy, I was like, "What is that?" He's like, "Oh, well, when I found it in the dump, it had 2 holes in it. So I just filled it in with concrete. Swear to God." And evidently concrete's porous. So it grew moss on it. Anyway, that was a Thursday, $200. Take it to the auction. I don't think nothing about it. I go to pick the jug up. I put it on the podium, and I knew what money was. I was 14. John goes, "Be careful with that, Matt. Be careful with that." So I'm like, "What the f*** is he talking about?" So I put it up there. He's like,
I feel like that's Kai at the auction now.
"No, that's Jet. That's Jet." I said, "Hold it up, Jet." He takes a Lonnie Holly sand sculpture and he does like this and is bringing 1,200 negative 14 to the ding to the ding to the ding. I mean, my 9-year-old at the time, or he was probably 7. All right. So be careful with that, Matt. Be careful. I'm like, okay. 4,000. Who'd have bid 4,000? 4,000. Nobody's bidding. I'm like, dang. But nobody's bidding. 2,000. Now I got to bid 2,000 to go. What about 1,000 to go? 1,000. 500. I need 5 to go. And then somebody says 100. So I'm sitting there like, shit, we're about to lose money. Bro, from 100 to 4,200 in less than 30 seconds. Sold. $4,200.
That's fun. That's
Dude,
cool.
I wrote a book about it. Haven't published it yet. It's called Picking Stories. That's in there. I mean, that woke me up. And I had experienced that. So let me backtrack and tell you where we're going. This is how stupid I was, though, when I was in my early 20s. And I had that experience. I think I know pottery, right? So I'm in a house picking in college. I had a break at 3:00, or I ended my day at 3 on like a certain day. So I went picking, like got in my car, drove around Greensboro, knocked on doors.
By yourself?
By myself. Got in a basement because I had worked my freshman year. I worked at Sports Authority. I sold shoes. My sophomore year, I was a bouncer at a biker bar.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
Dude, the next podcast, we're going to talk about that.
I think we talked about it a long time ago.
I was a bouncer at a biker bar, a legit biker bar. It was called Plumb Crazies.
Didn't they make a movie about it? Roadhouse?
No, shut the fuck up. That wasn't a biker bar. This was a biker bar. There was a band called Steel Breeze. When Steel Breeze, I was 19, man. $10 an hour, checking people for knives and guns. A fight broke out in the parking lot once. 20, 30 people. You know how it stopped? This is not a lie. Do you know how it stopped?
Matt Ledbetter.
The head bouncer came out and fired a gun in the air.
Okay.
In Greensboro. His name was Chris Lee. Somebody had slit his neck in Texas once in a bar fight. He got his throat slit.
God.
He had a big scar. He was the head bouncer at Plumb Crazies.
So scary.
He was my cooler. You know what I'm saying? That's a Roadhouse deal. You are the bouncers. I am the cooler. He was the cooler. He came outside and fired a gun in the air to stop the fight. It sounded like I've shot guns my whole life, but I've never been in a fight and heard a gun go off. So it was like surreal. I was like, was that a gun? And then there's Chris holding the gun in the air. And when the police came, they took the gun because you can't fire a gun in the city limits. Plumb Crazy is right there off of Wendover and Marketplace.
Mm.
So, or Guilford College and Marketplace. I don't know whether it was. It was right there near Guilford College.
Gotcha.
We were driving to get a set of shoes, to get a pair of shoes, me and my buddy John. John was 6'3", 280 pounds. I'm 5'9", 200, 215, right? John like looked the part. I was like a midget. We see this big sign and it said bouncers for hire. So we're going to buy tennis shoes. We're like, hey, let's go. We walk in. Lady's like, oh, you're hired. She's like, are y'all here for the bouncer job? We're like, yeah. She's like, you're hired. Come back Friday. So we're like, hell yeah, we're bouncers. We don't know nothing about this place. We go back Friday, 4:00. She takes us in the office. She goes, all right, there's a couple things we need to go over. There's two guys you got to really worry about. They're really nice guys. One guy's name is Snake. You'll recognize him. He has white power tattooed on the back of his arms.
Jesus.
And 9 times out of 10, he's going to have his gun on him. So you just need to radio to Chris Lee, that was the head bouncer, to come to the door and he'll check him for his gun. I said, okay. I'm like, $10 an hour, right? What the f? She goes, then there's another guy. She said, his name's Bull. He's 6'5" and he's got long red hair down to his ass. Really nice guy. The problem is Snake and Bull are not getting along right now. We have heard that they're both going to show up tonight. So if you see either one of them, just radio to Chris Lee. So I'm like, what the f, dude? I mean, that's where, anyway, we worked there for 6 months. It was freaking crazy. Craziest nightlife of my, bars close at 2. You got to clean up. Mm-hmm. You got to mop the bar. You can't leave a bar with beer spilt everywhere.
Yeah.
You got to clean the entire bar. You got to put the stools up. You got to back the beer again. You got to do everything. We don't get out of there till 4. It was crazy, man. And even then I went to bed early, like 10 o'clock. So yeah, it was nuts.
Okay. So then after that, I think you were saying, what was your next job?
Old Navy.
No.
Yeah. I went from that to Old Navy.
So you're a veteran. Wow.
What's that?
Of the Old Navy.
Oh, I worked at Old Navy. When I went to get that job, now I'm in college, right? So during football season, I didn't have a job. The only reason I quit Plumb Crazies is because we were starting football practice in August. So I was like, well, I'm not going to bounce at Plumb Crazies and then play a football game on Saturday. So yeah, I took a break and we never went back. So Old Navy the next year. And by about my senior year, I was like, I'm not working anywhere. I'm just going to pick.
Yeah.
I can make a couple dollars doing this. So
then you went picking by yourself.
So I would go picking by myself when I had breaks in classes. So this is how stupid I was on pottery though. I had first chair experiences on my dad paying $200 for a piece of pottery and it selling for $4,200. I knock on the door. The lady's like, meet me around in the basement. You got to understand how vivid these memories are. Like, I remember this like it was yesterday. I remember what she looked like. She had a piece of Roseville on the porch, a Roseville, Jordanaire, and pedestal, some kind of magnolia pattern. I really wanted that, but it had a huge crack in it. Absolutely worthless in today's market with a crack. But I fought for that thing for like a whole year. I would go back and see her. Finally, she sold it to me, but it was worthless. I was an idiot. I'm down in the basement. You got to understand, like, everybody back in the 50s and 60s had their grandparents' pottery, and everybody back in the 1880s had 10 to 20 pieces of pottery. So she had 4 or 5 pieces of pottery in the basement. Well, there was this one, it had 2 broke handles. It was a jug about that big, and it had what I thought was a S. So I gave her $30 for it. I thought it was like a $1,000 piece of pottery. So I paid her $30. And I said, ma'am, I'm going to run this up to the car. Because I didn't want the son to come home. I didn't know what the situation was to kill me, to kill the deal, right? You're not buying that, right? So I run it up to the car. I come back down. I write down $30 on the piece of paper. Well, I didn't pay her, but I write $30 down. So I buy some more stuff, Life magazines. I bought worthless shit. I lost my ass on everything. So I go to add everything up. I fucking pay her again for the piece of pottery. That's how stupid I was. Number one, I thought it was a Dan Siegel. Okay. Number one, Dan Siegel's not Salt-Glaze. Number two, that's not how Dan Siegel signs his stuff. He signs it one way and one way only. And it's a stamped DS.
And he's going to be green pottery, like
alkaline glaze pottery.
Yeah.
All right. So I've got a Dan Siegel. This must have been the summertime because I was at my dad's house. I was at my parents' house. So I drive back to Elon, 25, 30-minute drive. I lay all my stuff out on the pool table in his man cave.
Dad.
And I'm waiting for Dad to come home and see my Dan Siegel. Well, the landline rings. I pick it up. It's Mike Profit. He goes, hey, is your dad there? And Mike was a picker. And I was like, no, man, but I think I got a Dan Siegel, dude. He's like, really? What's it say? I was like, I don't know. It's got an S on it. He goes, no, I think Dan Siegel's a DS. He didn't want to say, you're a dumbass. But he said, I think Dan Siegel's a DS. I was like, all right, whatever. Hung up. Still thought I had a Dan Siegel. My dad comes home. He's like, what is this stuff? And I was like, man, this is what I picked. This is like one of the first times that I ever picked by myself and actually was able to buy stuff. And I said, what about that piece of pottery? Is that Dan Siegel? He goes, well, you obviously don't know what a Dan Siegel is. I'm like, really? I didn't believe him. I was like, really? All it was a piece of, if it was a mint piece of pottery, it would have been worth $50. But it had 2 broke handles. The S, I thought it was an S, was just a scratch 5, which means nothing. It's a gallon mark, or it's this is the 5th jug I have to make. Sometimes they had an order of 50 and they put a mark every 10, they'd put a mark or something. There's many different ways why they scratched into jugs.
Okay.
It was nothing. It wasn't even a mark. It brought $5 with the other 3 jugs. The other 3 jugs I bought were the whole deal. I paid $60 as I paid her twice. I thought it was a Dan Siegel, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like 22, 23 years old thinking that I know pottery. And that's how dumb I was.
I mean,
and the list goes on the mistakes I've made. That one about the horse.
Yeah, that's like part of it though.
No, that's why I know what I know now when I'm 43 because of all the mistakes I made.
And those memories are so vivid because
I'll never forget that.
Trauma from the mistakes you've made.
I'll never forget knocking on the door of the lady in Virginia who had the jug with the horse on it. She said, I'm not selling anything, but I'll let you look. And her house was littered with antiques. And I'll never forget the feeling of opening that one door bedroom. And it was just so much pottery. And there was that jug with the horse rearing up. Cobalt blue decorated. And as stupid as I was, I knew it was a $20,000 jug. I mean, it was about this tall, Virginia jug. And it had a blue horse.
Yeah.
Cobalt decorated. And I gave her $500 for it. But later on, I started scratching it off with a pocket knife. It was worthless. Brought $30. But hey, I know.
You had to do it.
I had to do it.
Okay.
It made me, man.
Let's wrap up this episode. I don't know if we finished a thought earlier of why do you have this stuff hanging on the wall?
Okay, here's what it is. You ready?
Yeah.
When you move into a house,
Okay.
you got empty walls. You're going to put something there. 80% of people go to Target and they pay $20, $30 for that fake piece of art, but it's pleasing to the eye. And then there's a small percentage that understand that when it's over, that's going in the trash. So I'd rather put $100 in a real piece of art or $300 in a real piece of art that A, might go up in value. Worst case scenario, I'm going to lose $50 because I'm going to be able to sell it one day.
Right.
And that's kind of where it starts. Everybody's got empty walls. Okay. Everybody's got space that they have to fill up in a home. So you either do it with IKEA, which is what happens to IKEA when it's done? It goes to the dump. Am I right? Or am I the only one that thinks that?
No, I think you're right. What you're
it
saying
gets thrown away. It gets set out on the side of the road. Or you can, now is a great time to buy great furniture at auction because it used to bring thousands of dollars. Now it brings $100 and it's real furniture.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but see, I already knew that. And so we're telling.
You knew that from picking. You knew that this is.
Well, yeah, I knew that because my dad was an antique dealer and his house was full of antiques.
Mm-hmm.
So that at the same moment that one person was going to Brindle's to buy their TV stand, my dad was setting his TV on a piece of oak furniture.
Right.
Not that it was worth a lot, but it was an antique or a marble top table or something like that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And instead of buying the $30 vase at Walmart to set in the corner, he was picking a piece of 1870s salt glaze and setting it in the corner.
Yeah.
And so I just grew up around it. And he kept every miniature basket he got picking for 30 years. He ended up with about 10 of them. I mean, go knock on doors right now and see how many miniature baskets you find.
Yeah.
You're not going to find them. So it was like 10 in 30 years. Now, with the way things are today, y'all have this is a great time to collect. Because if you fall in love with baskets, you can go to LiveAuctioneers. Let's do this for them. I'm going to LiveAuctioneers. Or I really shouldn't be telling them this. This is just giving too much money away. Oak split basket. There's 47. That's nice. There's 47 oak split baskets. In 1990, if you wanted to buy an oak split basket, you had to go through a lot.
Yeah.
Now, so it's a great time to collect because these things are readily available at your fingertips. You just got to think to yourself, where do I have a wall space? You get you a piece of furniture, you put it there, then you can set stuff on top of the piece of furniture, then you can put a painting on the wall. And that's what you start with. And you know what that turns into? One piece of furniture, 2 pieces of pottery, a walking stick, and a painting. If you do that 3 more times, now you got 15 things. Then you say to yourself, I wonder if I actually have anything that's worth anything out of those 15. Boom, you find out, oh man, that's actually a signed piece of pottery. So get rid of that one, right? Sell it for some money. Now you can do the 15 again. Now you got 30 items. See what I'm saying? And that's sometimes that's how it works. That would be the reverse order of upgrading.
Yeah.
See, a picker has to sell the best.
Yeah.
That's their job, to make money. You know, I got a very wise picker told me once, if you want to make money in this business, don't collect. I mean, a very wise antique dealer said, if you want to make money in the antique business, do not collect. I mean, it's
as simple as that.
That is the realest statement ever. I have some issues with that though, because my collecting habits make me want to learn. I don't think you can be an antique dealer and not collect.
Right.
I think you can graduate from having to own everything. I did that with pottery. I thought I needed to keep every piece of pottery. When I was 25, really picking, because I picked for 2 years straight. That was my job. Pick it Monday through Thursday, sell it at auction on Friday. Pick it Monday through Thursday, sell it at auction on Friday for 2 years straight. I thought I got to keep every piece of pottery I get. Well, 100 pieces of pottery later, and they're all because I was selling the best ones, right? I said, I can't keep doing this because every house I get into, they've got 10 pieces of pottery. So then I said, okay, here's the deal. North Carolina monkey jugs, pre-Berlin Craig. That is my stipulation. That's the only pottery I'm going to collect. And for 5 years, that's the only pottery I went after. I sold everything else. I didn't bid on anything at auction unless it was a North Carolina monkey jug pre-Berlin Craig. And you got to almost know a little bit about this subject to know what I'm talking about. North Carolina monkey jug pre-Berlin Craig. You got to know who Berlin Craig is. You got to know what the form monkey jug is. And obviously, I mean, I said North Carolina, so you know it's made in North Carolina.
Right.
And when I did that, it stopped me from buying random pieces of pottery.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happens. So, like, if you're buying baskets right now, if you're new to us and we got you into buying baskets, one day you're going to stop buying any basket and you're going to put parameters on it. I'm only going to buy baskets made before 1950. And that's subjective because who really knows? It's hard to tell sometimes how old a basket is. Or I'm only going to buy baskets with paint.
Right.
Or I'm only going to buy baskets if they're 6 inches or less. Instead of because if you say I'm going to buy baskets, I mean, you're going to be buying a lot of baskets if that's your parameters.
Right, yeah.
Or if you say, I'm going to start collecting face jugs. Okay, 100 face jugs later, you might say, okay, I'm only going to buy Lanier Metters face jugs. Or if you collect Lanier Metters face jugs, because they're let's see what Lanier Metters. Now this again, y'all need to, if you don't know where to find this stuff, you need to wake up. Is all I'm saying, because a lot of this is ready available. So there's a Lanier Metter small. There's been 1,250 Lanier Metters pieces of pottery sold on LiveAuctioneers.
Wow.
Okay. There's no face jugs now, but you might collect Lanier Metter face jugs. But you can say, okay, I've got 50. He made thousands. Lanier Metter face. Are y'all trying to stop me? Are we going too long?
No, I was just looking. I thought he broke something.
You fucking broke something?
I thought he did.
All right, tax write-off. If you ever break anything, just tell me. That's what I tell people.
You don't want to find it later.
I don't want to fucking find it later. Tell me. What'd you break? All right. So,
you were talking about Metters.
So if you collect Lanier Metters, get ready to buy a lot of Lanier Metters face jugs because they're readily available. When an auction gets one, they get 5. But then at some point you're going to say, okay, stop. I'm only going to collect them if they have rock teeth.
Okay.
Or I'm the only one I'm going to bid on next is China teeth.
Yeah.
And then, you
start getting parameters for your collection.
Yeah.
And then again, what I think is really cool about being in this room, it's like your collection is the people that you're passionate about, the people that you always tell us about. And it's cool just to see what I would say is the best of the best of what is our world right now.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. It is if you just want to say brass tacks. Now, I love coming. This is why I sympathize a little bit with the guy that said something about it's kind of lame. I don't forgot what he said, but basically it's kind of lame that you have to talk about price. I don't care that it's the $100 pieces because I love coming in here.
Right. This is where you drink your coffee.
I'll make my coffee. I've got chairs strategically placed. I'll drink my coffee for 5 minutes in one chair and get the view. Then I'll move to another chair and get another view. And that's me.
And it's walking sticks, it's baskets, it's furniture, it's salt-glaze pottery, it's the bucket man over there.
Confederate Civil War sword.
That's all he's going to kill us with.
I think, I think that's not Confederate, that's Union. And how do you know? Well, you look at this is a U.S. 1863. So it's obviously not Confederate. It's a Mansfield. So it's like a $400 sword. I got it from Liberty, but it's badass.
Yeah,
that was carried in the Civil War, bro. Cool. That was carried in the Civil War by the Union Army. How badass is that? And they're very obtainable, man. That's not a $5,000 thing. Oh, let a man do it.
I don't want to break it.
But now here's what you don't want to do. Okay, I'm gonna help the collector out. When you go to a show, you don't want to just do this, close it up and buy the sword.
Right.
Because you might pull it open and it not be the whole sword. But this happens to be, now it's been sharpened, which I mean.
What if he just says,
hey, Sully, did you break anything? I'm just with you. So you definitely want to look at the sword. You know, I bought
Sully's telling us if you open a katana, you have to kill someone with
That's
it.
not real.
No.
But here's the thing about swords. It was, I'd say in the 80s, everybody had a sword in their house because in the 40s, a lot of people were in the military. A lot of their parents were in the military in World War I. And then prior to World War I, everybody was in the Civil War. And how many swords did they make? Don't quote me, but figure it out. It's a lot. 500,000 or more? Million? I mean, damn, it's a lot. So I had somebody walk into the gallery the other day and they said, I want an eyeball jug. I've always wanted an eyeball jug. Do you have any? I was like, yeah, I got 15 of them. They're like, oh, really? I was like, yeah. They're like, can we buy one? I'm like, no. So what are we doing?
Just like, I think.
What should they start with?
When people watch our episodes, we've gotten them into baskets, but
okay. So here's what you need to do.
Folk art's a big piece of this.
Here's what you need to do.
Is there a piece in here that you think someone could get started with?
Okay.
Or is this?
You need to get this book. Or they could get, did I say that I'm turning this into a book?
I don't think you did.
So I'm going to take a picture of every piece in this room before we pack it up and get it out of here. And each page of the book is going to be a piece. So it's going to be like a 300-page book. So maybe one day I'll be saying, get this book and it'll be my book. But right now, go get this book, right? And like I've said before, if it's worthy of being in this book, it's worthy for you to have. This is Denzel Goodpasture.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know why. I bought my first Denzel Goodpasture cane off eBay. It wasn't called a Denzel Goodpasture cane. It was just a snake cane. And so out of this book, I created these names so I didn't have to flip through it. And just from these names, all right, I want you to go after a Mary Proctor. I want you to get a Mary Proctor. Start your collection with a Mary Proctor. She's alive. You will fall in love with Mary Proctor if you meet her.
She's so cool.
I mean, I don't know how old she is. She's wearing her age well. If she's 60, she's wearing it well. I don't know if she's 60 or not. She's alive. They're all over the internet. Get one. And you'll have a bona fide piece of self-taught art. Okay? Outside of that, I think the next most obtainable one would be an R.A. Miller.
Mm-hmm. I think that was the first piece I got from you. It was an R.A. Miller.
Yeah. And he's an artist that he did 10 cutouts of animals and he painted them. He sold them for $5 a piece back in the 80s and 90s. And then, they'll bring anywhere from 40 to 140 to 340. Your budget is your budget. I can't control that, but yeah. I can control telling you, get you a Mary Proctor, get you a R.A. Miller. Brian Dowdle sometimes is obtainable. Jimmy Lee Sudduth and Mose Tolliver, be careful where you buy those from. They're highly faked.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much Jimmy Lee Sudduth, but there are. If you buy from an auction house down in Florida, there's several down there that are getting it in from overseas.
Really?
Absolutely.
Dang.
There's 2 or 3 that are on LiveAuctioneers right now. And I battle LiveAuctioneers with this. Don't let fake art on your platform.
Yeah.
I mean, watch this. I'll tell you the auction houses. I mean, you think they're going to snipe me? You think they're going to smoke me out? All you got to do if you want to see fake art is type in Bill Traylor on here's a Bill Traylor from Royal Treasures that's starting out at $350.
Wow.
Oh, Royal Treasures has 3 Bill Traylors.
That's incredible. They do that.
Because they're fake as hell. Now watch this. When you click on them, title, Bill Traylor, old 20th century modern painting on canvas. Signed Bill Traylor. Bill Traylor, 20th century modern art painting on canvas. Artist. Sold as is. No documents or COA, certificate of authenticity. Okay.
Did he paint on canvas?
No, these people. This is fake.
I always heard he painted on the
This is fake as
shirt insert.
Here's
paper.
how LiveAuctioneers lets them get away with it. As long as they put
no documents,
sold as is, no documents or COA, they can sell it. But here's the problem. When it gets sold, that title, that text that just told you that it wasn't real, doesn't come with that painting.
Right.
And it's signed Bill Traylor. So it's fake as and LiveAuctioneers should not allow this. It pisses me off, dude. So here's what I've done a few times when I sell art at my auction. This is 100% real. 100%. I'll back it up. This is 100% real. If you're buying something at an auction and they say, we can't guarantee this, or this is sold as is, or this is after the artist, this is in the manner of the artist, it's not real.
Stay away.
It's not real.
Yeah.
Because if it's real, you can say this is 100%. Or they'll go further and say this was from the Ann Oppenheimer collection, purchased directly from the artist.
Right.
Something like that. That's kind of why self-taught art is really cool, because so much of it is purchased directly from the artist.
Yeah, I think that is cool.
Where the do you think I got this?
From Ab.
Ab handed me this. The paint was still wet. Okay.
You used to say it still smells like cigarettes.
It still smells like cigarettes. Dude, his clothes smelled, so his bag of clothes smelled like cigarettes so much, I did not let him bring them in the house. I was like, bro, and what a hard conversation to have with somebody. I'm sorry, Ab, but you got, here's $300. Go get some new clothes.
All right, I think we should close it out.
2 hours.
Kill us. Sully's gonna kill us.
Well, listen,
just inspire our fans about collecting, just to close it out.
Collecting is fun. It's a pastime for me. It's a pastime for my wife. We will spend a day hunting.
Mm-hmm.
We go to Liberty every year. It's like a day that we spend together. So turn it into a pastime, man. And you don't have to collect the best, but at least know what the best is. I do think you need to know what a Bill Traylor is.
Yeah.
And then accept the fact that you can't afford it. I can't afford a Bill Traylor. They bring $50,000.
Yeah.
Accept that. Do I want a Bill Traylor? Yes. Do I want a Sam Doyle? Yes. But I settle for Mary Proctor, Benny Carter, Ab the Flagman, low-level Purvis Youngs. Clyde Jones. And my dad's art. S.L. Jones. So hey, I'm the first to tell you that there is art out there that we're not going to be able to afford.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're a doctor and you're putting all your money in the stock market and you got $500,000 in the stock market making 10% a year, take $50,000 and buy you a Bill Traylor. We are talking to people like that actually got money.
There's going to be at least one watching, maybe. I don't know.
Buy you a Bill Traylor. Buy you a Sam Doyle, but make sure it's real. Don't f**k up. That's a stupid ass feeling. If you're not paying $10,000 for a Sam Doyle, If you're buying a Sam Doyle at auction and you're not paying $10,000, it's not real. And I'll go on here. If I was new in this business, I would buy from me or Slotin. I wouldn't with nobody else. I'm dead honest because I don't think anybody else will stand up to it. The first thing I ask people when they say, I've got a collection of this, well, where did it come from?
Mm-hmm.
I have several Purvis Youngs. Where did it come from? My source for Purvis Young comes from a man who purchased an entire warehouse of Purvis Youngs at once. So he has hundreds. Now, I don't know if me and this guy fell out. We might have fallen out. I don't know. But I hadn't sold
What'd you do, man?
Dude, a lot of shit happens in the auction business, man. You can't fucking please everybody. I love him. I think they're just getting old. I think what happened was they sold a big collection of them to an institution for a shitload of money and realized that me getting $300 for them is not cutting it. But I didn't do anything. We're still friends. We don't talk anymore. But I mean, that's how it goes. I mean, it's all business transactions. You're not really friends. It's a business transaction, I guess. I don't know, whatever. But my Purvis Youngs are usually real. Now, I have had
usually
one.
Real.
No. Listen. I did have one that wasn't right. One of my friends down in Atlanta told me, and he said, I think Brian Dowdle painted that one.
Oh, man.
All right, guess what? I called my consignor. Hey, where'd you get that Purvis Young? Guess where they got it?
From Brian Dowdle.
From Brian Dowdle.
Oh, God.
I said, all right, here's the deal. I'm going to take it down. You can have it back. I don't want to sell it.
Okay.
And then they said, why? Because we think it's fake. And this was a major collector. I also if the guy was in front of me, we would have gotten a fist fight. I got in a really bad altercation with somebody because they told me I sold a Mary T. Smith once. That was fake.
I remember that.
When are you going to show us your collection?
Next episode.
Hey, I'm never upset. Don't mistake my passion for hostility. Yeah, really. I'm just very passionate. I love everybody. I don't have any enemies in this game. And if I've ever done anything to you, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the guy that told me about the Mary T. Smith. I'm sorry that I acted the way I did.
All right, 0 minutes.
Guys, thanks for watching this episode. We'll see you next time. House of Folk Art.
Thank you.